Another ball spawn buried by our hand. Ball should learn better than to send his offspring against us. They might as well be babes, dropped bare bottom into the Rashiman winter. Boo is overjoyed with our victory. Another den of evil vanquished, and an old foe defeated. Well, Viconio was a friend for a short time beforehand, but then a foe once more. Yes, Boo, a most wicked witch. The very mention of her name gives him nightmares to this day. Boo and Minsk have traveled far and wide, and met many fine and not so fine people. It will surprise you to learn that even the wisest of friends do not always recognize Boo for what he is. Exactly! The Drow was a cruel witch, but a clever one. She knew what Boo was right away, and she had never seen his like before. She wished to inspect his handsome magnificence, and so she did. One night, while he lay asleep, twitching his whiskers in happy dreams, she crept upon his tiny bedroll holding a knife as slim as a toothpick. She meant to spill his miniature guts and study them. Ha! Minsk did not stop her. He did not need to. Boo never sleeps deeply while evil is near. He sprang into action and almost blinded the witch. She had fled from her camp by morning, when Boo told me the whole tale over a breakfast of berries and nuts. Fine lodgings you have found, my friend. Boo is already in negotiations with the guardian spirits of this place. In Baldur's Gate, they are likely to be rat-formed and eager to charge rent. But Boo shall secure safe slumber for all. Now, what do you need of Minsk? So dark an alliance sealed with Sentish contracts, cultish vows, and a dragon's shining hoard. You think Minsk could forget? You are correct. I have no idea what any of that was about. But we shall simply... Gah! Boo! Why do you gnaw at my soft parts? I am trying to... Once again, in smaller words? I see. This truth you seek. Boo believes that Minsk is knowing more than Minsk knows. But it is a difficult thing. There are memories of this time that Minsk does not remember. And Boo suggests that, just as he helps with tricksome itches in awkward places, you must reach what Minsk cannot. The parasite. You can use it to tickle free whatever truth you seek.
At first, there is nothing. His mind is empty as a still expanse of open country. But then... Your face, the Stone Lord's face, mirrored in bloodied steel. In the heat of burning buildings, you hold your blade high above pale, frightened faces.
No, that is not right. I slew only monsters. The voice said that they were monsters.
A whisper. The Absolute's voice, twisting the petty guild thieves before you into snarling, savage beasts, feeding on the weak of your city.
The guild. The Stone Lord hunted them, peeled away their rotten ranks one by one to lay bare their corrupt heart. 9 fingers keen. That is what the Absolute bought Black Zenti Steel to do. To kill the Guildmaster. What does it matter? Cultish thinking has occupied Minsk's mind for long enough. Now is time for doing. And this talk of evil overthrowing evil, pah! Like a many-headed hydra biting at its own throat. Bring forth the hydra, says Boo. More faces for the punching. First we pop the Zentarim blood, then we show 9 fingers, the 5 fingers of Minsk. Yes? Yes? Yes. Make sure you are refreshed before we set out again, friend. The road to justice is paved with kicked buttocks. Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends? Boo never looks to give me fleas. Sometimes you just pick these things up along the path. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through? Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough? Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen. Boo has a way with words that we lack. All that space in the cheeks, I am thinking. Well, the mind of Minsk is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface, a lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsk, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsk you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomar style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting breeches too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsk. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots. Well, as have you, no? Do not forget that when you gaze into Minsk, Minsk also gazes into you. We both fight evil, wherever it is found. The who and where are less important than the hamsters you meet along the way. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's worms. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no? Is it power? True, it has made Minsk strong. Boo can scarcely get comfortable, so firm has my physique grown. But what does the parasite take in return? It is a horror wrapped in honey. Stay your sweet tooth, says Boo. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge. Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night, but very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsk and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsk does not know. One moment we stood in the city slums, the next, ambush! Then Minsk and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places. Aha! Perhaps this is the reason, Boo. It is not because of the legendary thickness of my skull. The mind of Minsk was occupied with important matters. I was browsing a slum vendor's stall, looking for Boo's favorite nuts. And then, I was stoned. For Minsk, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then... It is now. I do not like these metal men on the streets, or the villains who hide behind them. But the new world is not so different to the old one. The city still clings to the hill. The sea still stretches on forever. And the stench of evil still makes Boo wish for a tiny peg on his nose. As long as that stench remains, no matter how old or young the world is, Minsk and Boo will not rest. You hear that, Boo? Your keen skills of observation have not gone unnoticed. Our friend wishes to consult your wisdom. So small is Boo that he is often mistaken for a pinecone, and many secrets are spoken in his hearing. He will tell what he knows, but Minsk, of course, will translate. Boo has said it is unkind to speak behind the backs of some of our companions, and unwise to say certain things to their faces. Ah, the Great Blade of Frontiers! A fine name. Minsk has no idea what it means, but it suits young Will's air of mystery well. It is good to know the city did not go unprotected while I wore pigeon droppings on the wide. Jahira did her part, of course, but she prefers to scowl from the shadows. This city needs a name, a face, preferably a furry companion, too. Mizora. This is some manner of exotic bird? What? Will, the Blade of Frontiers of whom I heard, is no man to deal with devils. Boo speaks sense, as ever. There is goodness in Will. We have seen it. If there be a devil on his shoulder, then Minsk and Boo will sit astride the other. He will not be long in coming back to himself, I think. I do not wish to speak of the wizard. I could not have said it better myself. He came to me one night with a little book of mischief, full of words and their meanings. Posterior, he says. Can you say posterior? Pwah, I refused. Minsk does not need to know the language of wizards. It is an inferior word, far too long to use in a battle cry, which is where a butt belongs. Gale would do better to educate himself in the ways of sword and steel than to throw these pointy words at Minsk. Ah, yes. Gale also owns a cat. A cat with wings. That is most unnerving for poor Boo. What? That is 1,000 times more interesting than anything that has ever been written in a book. Gale! My good friend! Where are you? Minsk and Boo would like to hear about the exploding! What is it, my friend? Minsk is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Who is ready with the musings? Who is Halsen? Somehow, such a person as you describe has entirely escaped Minsk's notice. How strange. Oh, the tiny, puny elf with leaves in his hair and dirt under his fingernails. His name is Halitosin. How very unfortunate. That is what I said. Pah! Minsk saw the druid chasing himself in circles and sniffing his own butt last night. He has spent too long as a wolf and not enough as a man. No, Boo! The druid did not beat Minsk at the arm wrestling. It was not a fair match, and he turned into an owlbear midway through, and there was grease on the tree stump. You come to speak of the last time Minsk stood watch? The snoring, it was Boo. Minsk is an open book, with many pretty... Boo is ready with the musings. Boo has said it is unkind to speak behind the backs of some of our companions, and unwise to say certain things to...
The cub speaks. Huh. Not so much a term of age or affection as simple old habit. You object? And will be again. But now I shall mutter them under my breath, out of respect. Ask it. I've learned not to unpick the legends so many have woven around our name. Seeing the hope die in a romantic's eyes, it is only funny the first few dozen times. Some call the Harpers heroes. Others, petty meddlers who cannot help but stick their nose into every conflict they stumble across. The truth is in there somewhere. We try to work towards a common balance. If every other faction finds us equally annoying, that is probably a sign that we are succeeding. Ha! No. No, thank you. Let the wiser members of my order wrinkle their brows over that particular phrase. In all my years fighting for the Harpers, I am still never certain what the greater good means. I've learned to be content with, well, that was not so bad as it might have been. You might say that. I left their service and swore never to return. Multiple times, if I recall. It is easy to get tired of the intrigue. The high causes shrouded in secrecy. I thought I might find another way to be of use to the world. And for a time I did. But my comrades would use a rather irritating phrase. A harper never leaves the chorus. She simply goes to spread the song. Meaning that whatever cause I turned my hand to, there I would find them. Harpers, stuffed with their own virtue, but always there. Always trying to help. So I returned to the fold. Returned to the city. Eventually they hung a title around my neck. High Harper. And I still do not know how to play one. If I tried to spare Geraldos the same headaches, well, now you know why. And if he is half the Harper I suspect, it won't make a damned bit of difference. But you're staring. Which means the tadpole has finally eaten your brain. Or have I been talking too much? Either way, time to move, no?
All's well, I hope, aside from the obvious.
Minsk believes a doppelganger to be Jaheira. He is being manipulated, I am all but certain. The city, you mean? With all its noise, smoke, stone, and bustle? I would not be here given the choice, but I promised you my support. And that is what you shall have. Still, though, this place crawls with life, but little of it flourishes. I see refugees unhoused, the destitute unwanted, orphans unloved. The city is like a forest with an overgrown canopy. Light and nourishment cannot penetrate to those who need it the most, and still it draws them in. The safety of numbers, the promise of civilization, the dream of better. All that potential is too often destined to die in the dark and rot in the gutter. I wish there was a better way. I wish everyone could see the sun, have a full belly, and know nature as a friend. There is a balance that is yet to be found. Listen to me, preaching like an initiate in his cups. Some can thrive here, yes, but it was never meant for everyone. There should be a choice. Nature should be afforded its chance to offer harmony to those who need it. But that must wait for now. There are battles yet to be fought. We must save the world before we can dream of ways to better it.
Minsk is being tricked. By the hells, we've got to rip him away from that shapeshifter. Let's talk.
Is something burdening you?
Soldier? Of all the places I expected would find this Minsk, crawling from the broken jaws of a mimic wasn't high on my list. What's life without a few surprises, eh?
Minsk puts on quite a show of brawn, even if there's no brain worth mentioning. I mean, I hate to judge the proverbial book, but that oaf may be all cover and no pages.
It is splendid to see you again, my friend. If you hadn't saved me from that mob, I'd be penning a guide to the afterlife based on first-hand experience. Perhaps you would hazard a guess as to why the mob turned on me? Quite right. But it is not Oren herself who has marked me for death. It is her dread master. The Lord of Murder has returned. As he did 100 years ago, Baal has set his accursed sights on Baldur's Gate. And his temple runs red with the blood of the innocent. Oren is his chosen. And like Sarevok before her, she is able to take on the savage form of the Slayer. If the Slayer is not stopped, it will slaughter every living thing in this city. As one of those things, I'm particularly eager to stop it. And there is a way. I have a study of the beast, penned by the wizard Irenicus himself. It contains all of the knowledge needed to slay the Slayer. Now I just need a brave adventurer, willing to face Baal's chosen, and to put the knowledge into practice. You triumphed over Baal's chosen? Marvelous! Such a historic deed must be documented in every gory detail. You and I shall pen the book of your experiences together. But I suppose you'll have to deal with the Illithids first. Please do tell me when you've thwarted every apocalypse that's currently in motion.
I'll strike you down.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Nothing's happening. Oh, shit! That was 4 times, wasn't it?
But I dared you first, so you have to go.
Your esteemedness returns! Oh, joyous hour. You must be awfully familiar with our esteemed Archduke to know about a thing like that. Truly? Remarkable. I like to deal with remarkable people. Very well. You seek answers. Lord Mammon seeks coin. I will happily mediate.
Mammon. I knew it. I did.
Quite the fitting token. Let it not be said that Lord Mammon's servant does not deal with paupers. But I'm afraid you'll need to offer an awful lot more than that. I'll be keeping the coin, though, of course. The first hit's free, eh? Oh, fine. I'll humor you, mortal. Just this once. You stand before Mammon's picklock, latchkeeper of the 9 hells. My business is not information, nor hellish curios. Not really. I break people into the hells. That's my thing. I can reveal to you that I opened a portal for Lord Gortash. My word, this is embarrassing. Perhaps I should have explained our terms better. You asked what I did for Lord Gortash. You paid the fee, and I answered you. Our pact is complete. Would you like to make another transaction? Oh, yes. I should think that'll do deliciously. Lord Gortash wanted to steal something from Mephistopheles, so I punched a portal into the Archdevil's dusty vaults. And then oh, gosh. My fickle memory fails. If only something would jog it. I mean, I suppose that'll do. Stingy bastard. Gortash stole the crown of Carsus, pissed off Mephistopheles, but rather intrigued another devil by the name Raphael. His House of Hope is furnished with a great deal of treasures, many related to Carsus. But alas, he lacks the crown itself. He's rather ambitious. One can only wonder what he has planned for the crown. The answers to that can probably be found within his house.
Let's poke around the rat's nest. Maybe set it on fire on the way out.
What a fascinating proposition. Ludicrous, of course, but fascinating nevertheless. Very well. If you wish to die in Avernus, that's your business. Mine is charging you for it. Of course, such a task will require quite the substantial donation to Lord Mammon's coffers.
Such a task would be tantamount to suicide. Do not even entertain it.
You put me in a difficult position, mortal. You are almost certain to fail. Almost. And so, there is a chance you might succeed. Fine. I'd like to be able to carry all of my precious stock without the need of a team of oxen. There are gauntlets of hill giant strength within the House of Hope. Free passage, and you fetch them for me. Deal? Allow me to outline how this is going to work. First, you were never here. We never spoke. Second, you will perform the rites yourself. I want absolute deniability. Here's the grimoire and necessary components. Oh, take this key, too. It unlocks the ritual room upstairs. There's a blood circle already drawn. Don't ask whose blood.
Along with the grimoire and components, Helsik hands you a note containing precise instructions for performing the ritual.
Finally, you were never here. That is of utmost import to remember. Now be gone!
Darling?
I strongly suggest that you reconsider this course of action. Whatever you expect to gain from the Hells is not worth the risk of traveling there uninvited.
Aramin the Erudite, the epitome of devilish charm, wit, and grace. What's that?
This head's a long way from home. Belongs to one of the Fugue Plains death devils.
Catch a glimpse of the delights of the Nine Hells. From a safe distance, of course.